Are we old? Are we old? Are we? Are we? Are we old? Mike Finoya and Charles McBee. It's nostalgia and comedy. Are we old? Are we old? Are we? Are we? Are we old? Mike Finoya and Charles McBee. Let's unlock a memory.
This pisses me off. If we don't see some boobs or some explosions or
Yeah, poop. That'd be cool.
Are we old? Are we old? Are we? Are we? Are we old?
Are we old? I'm your homeboy, Charles McBee.
And I'm Mike Finoya, and we both have our Jimi Hendrix shirts on, and we didn't plan this.
We did not plan this. We did not call each other and go, what are you wearing today?
Are you wearing your Jimmy shirt today?
That's
That's
right.
a nice one. I like that a
Thanks,
lot.
man. Thanks, man. Yeah, it's one when I went through my graphic tee purge, this was one I was like, I'm not letting this go.
Do you do a purge? I feel like that's a getting old thing, is where like you go through clothes and you're just like, I didn't realize I've had this shirt 11 years. Like, it's time to part ways or keep it.
I think as a single older guy, yes, I feel like, and you can maybe attest to this, but I feel like that's normally like a married guy, wife gets rid of all
not
that
mine,
stuff.
but
Yours
yeah.
is cool. I feel like you're a cool, hip marriage. You're like, but like in TV marriage land, I always just see is just like, she's just like, yeah, we're getting rid of all of this.
Yeah, never.
And it's time for you to start dressing up like a grown up.
Yeah, no. For me, it's like, I'm going hoodie shopping, babe, and
Yeah.
that's it. But no, I think that's a really cool one.
Thanks, man.
And this is one that this was a pandemic purchase because I was gaining a lot of LBs. And I was like, I need something a little bit, bigger. But I love Jimi Hendrix.
Hendrix is amazing. He's an icon.
Band of Gypsies is one of my favorite albums. What's your favorite Jimi Hendrix album, everybody? At Are We Old Podcast on the socials. areweoldpodcast@gmail.com. And we have a phone number.
478-420-0690.
Hey, Charles.
Yo.
I want to tell you something that I've been realizing lately. I think it's like a telltale I'm old.
Okay.
The other day, okay, so I had a rare Saturday of no shows, okay? And I had one or two shows Friday. Friday afternoon, before the Friday night shows, I sat down and I made a list of chores that I had to do Saturday.
All right.
When I went to bed Friday night, I was so excited to spend Saturday doing chores. And I did all the chores Saturday. And while I was doing them, I was crossing them off the list. Can I tell you? I love chores. If you told 16-year-old me,
Right.
one day you're gonna love your favorite day in months is gonna be the day that you blew out the garage and labeled your tools,
Right.
and went to the dump and went to Home Depot and did this and then raked.
Right.
That was a punishment back in the day.
Yeah.
Why do I mean, literally, like, I just love getting shit done.
Well, I think it's because you're raking your leaves and you're blowing out your garage and you're labeling your tools. So there's more of a sense of ownership. This is for me, as opposed to I got to do this because my dad is making me do it, or I got to do this because of this other reason. When it's for you and your shit, I feel like there's more of a pride and there's more of a, there's more detail there. You're more attention to detail. You're more ownership, more pride in that. That's what my guess is.
I think you might be right.
Yeah.
I think you might be right, but also like I do feel like, yeah, because if someone's like, hey, can you help me with this or can you do that, whatever, I'm into it. I like helping people, but not as much as I like getting my own crap done. But even like to the effect of like making your bed, that wasn't like a thing I did growing up every day, where now it's like I wake up and I immediately... Dude, my wife makes my bed while I'm still in it. She gets up way before me, and like I feel like things tight. I'm having dreams of like being tied to a railroad tracks, and I wake up and I'm like, "What the fuck are you doing?" She's like making the bed while I'm still in it.
What's the matter with you? Get out of here.
But now, literally, it's like once the clothes are folded, they go away.
Really?
Dude.
See, I'm the opposite.
No, I don't picture you being a slob.
Wait a minute now. I didn't say I was a slob. That wasn't the premise of this conversation. The premise of the conversation wasn't, do we do chores? The premise is, do we enjoy doing chores?
You don't enjoy chores?
I don't. I think that I'm a man of time, right? I value my time, and I like my time to be whatever I want it to be. So chores to me is something that has to get done, but is also going to take up my time, and I don't necessarily want my time to go towards that. Like if I had wipe my behind money, if I had FU money, I would 1000% pay someone else to do said chores. The cleaning person, laundry, whatever, like all of that stuff.
Wow.
I would allocate that 100% if I would just have,
I
money
would
to blow off.
I would too. If I had FU money, I would totally never touch laundry again.
Yeah, I would. There's no part of me that's just like, I love cleaning dishes. It's just like, absolutely not. But you do it because you got to do it.
You have to do it.
Yeah, but I do think that when it comes to certain things, like I'll give you an example. Like, so you said like the folding clothes and putting it away. Like, I'm just like, ugh, gross. But if it's something like mowing the lawn or something where you're like, I'm one with nature. Like sometimes those types of chores are bigger than the chores. Sometimes it's like, I just want to be in my yard. There's something about being in your yard and, being in the dirt or whatever.
Yes.
Like that's bigger than just doing chores.
Yeah.
That I do feel like there's like a spiritual element to it or
You're
whatever.
outside in the sun.
Well,
you're an outside guy. You mentioned that. You're
Yeah.
like, when you're even like home, you like to take like long walks in like the park and stuff like that. And I love outdoor stuff. And I'll tell you, I'm embarking on a lot of outdoor stuff during the day. A lot of people don't understand, like, we record this during the day, but we're basically, we live like your grandparents most days. Like, you know what I mean? Like we're going to the post office on a Monday.
Yeah.
And, talking to Ruth about the traffic. I'm going to Quest Diagnostic on like a Tuesday afternoon, right? So now I've got like a yard and I'm like, oh, I want to do this. I want to do that. But you know what I have to realize, dude? And I feel great, but I'm not a kid anymore. Like I wake up sore. I'm like banged up. Like I kind of have to know. Like you're saying, like pay people to do certain things. I'm always like, I'll never pay anybody to do landscaping. And so I love doing that stuff. But also, I don't want to like rupture an Achilles. I'm always wondering,
There's
like,
that too. Yeah,
am I going to step wrong? Like now I was like cutting down a tree the other day with a handsaw. Like I'm just doing like,
right.
And I'm like, I have no idea what's going to happen in the next 5 minutes. Like, is this thing going to fall on my head?
Yeah.
Am I going to step back and land on a rock and just blow my fucking ankle out?
See,
and that changes my whole life.
That's the difference between us, our generation, and the generations before us. Because, like, my great-grandfather was chopping down trees at, like, 80
Oh,
years
totally.
old.
Totally.
Just like, what? What are you talking about?
I know.
So, but I think it's true. Like, there's certain things that if I had the time, I just feel like even though we are comics and we do live like housewives, I still find that we're still in the thick of our careers. So I still don't have the time to just do whatever I want. It's still like, I got to email these people. I got to finish this script or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, it's almost like doing chores for me, sometimes it's almost like a luxury to even have the time.
Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's that luxury of like being able to like, because it's also that thing of I take pride in those things now.
Yeah.
Where like before, like you said, my dad's making me cut the lawn, right?
Right.
I'm cutting the lawn as fast as humanly possible.
Right.
Now I cut the lawn, I trim the edges that I didn't hit. I put on the backpack blower and blow all the clippings away, and then I'll like prune certain shit and whatever. It's like a half a day process.
Well, here's the thing, and shocker, that you find this out at a certain point, but studies have shown that when you're the one paying for shit, you tend to take a little bit more pride
Yeah, totally.
in how it looks, how it works, how it sounds, whatever.
Tools,
it's
fucking the quality of tools.
What?
I like clean my tools
polishing
now.
them bad boys.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
You paid how much for this at Lowe's?
Dude.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times, because I landscaped for work, and I can't tell you how many times stoned weed whacking around someone's house, and I would just accidentally like hit a wire and just sever the fucking wire going into their house, and I'm like,
oops.
oh well.
Whoopsie.
And just keep going.
Yeah.
And then like, what are you gonna do? And then next summer I'm like, how come we're not doing their house anymore? And he's like, I don't know, for some reason they fired us. But I like taking a day to like do a bunch of chores, and I think that like, I don't know what it is, but it's like I really enjoy banging shit off a list.
No, it is cathartic.
Crossing stuff off.
You feel very productive and very accomplished.
Days I don't do it, I feel like crap.
That's true. No, that's very true. Like if my home, if it's messy, if it's getting, I'm just like, oh, I got to do this. I don't feel it doesn't. And I have a nice, I have a, I can say, especially as somebody that lives in New York, like I have an apartment that I can feel proud of and I feel home. It's not as opposed to how the many of us have had to live in our earlier days when you're just in a place that you can afford with 30 other people and it's just a roof. But I can say like I have a home that I can come home to. So I do take extra pride in making sure that it looks nice and that it feels like home. But also to that point, if I'm paying New York rent, I want it to, look like what I pay for. So yeah, I agree. There is something to, and it's also, I will say, something that you can control. You can't necessarily control, how many bookings did I get this month? How many did I get this role on this silly sitcom?
I still haven't heard back from this person.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
You know what you can do? You can mow the lawn. Certain things you can take grasp of.
And maybe that is why.
Yeah.
Maybe that is why when the mower won't start,
oh, God.
dudes flip the fuck out.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like, now you?
Yeah.
Now you're not going to sleep with me? Oh, God. That's great.
Yeah, man. Chores. Let's see. What else we got? Oh, there's something that you mentioned not too long ago that kind of not sent me down a wormhole, but just like conjured up some memories. You mentioned prank calls.
Oh, dude.
Back in
One
the
of
day.
my favorite pastimes back in the day. Oh, God. Did you do it?
Yeah. I did it on I wasn't jerky boying it up, but like, we did the classic, hey, is your fridge running? Dude. Might want to go check and see.
Oh my
God.
God.
Yeah. It was just silly, but we didn't do it like all the time.
Well, you remember how I told you that I had my own phone line as a kid?
Of course.
Right. I feel like that was like you picture me like
I don't know what the
like Daddy Warbucks' kid or whatever. No, not the case.
No. I know you had but that particular thing does stand out as
man, I did. I had my own phone line, and after I threw out the Sports Illustrated football phone,
right,
I don't know how I didn't. You didn't know it until you bought the phone and brought it home.
Right.
But some answering machines could record a call. So
Okay.
like
Oh.
if you picked up the phone and you were able to make a call,
You were like the feds.
legit, but instead of being the feds, I was the jerky
Yeah,
boys,
right,
dude.
right.
Literally, we would call, and another buddy of mine had one, and we would go back and forth to each other's houses, and we would, I mean, dude, terrorize local businesses.
Oh, nice.
Like we would call a foot doctor
Mm-hmm.
and we would go, oh, the boil on my toe is agony. And we would just be like, why do my feet stink? And we would just like ruin this doctor's like, and this was when you can like get a doctor on the phone.
Yeah, right.
That you'd call like the secretary and be like, oh, can I talk to the doctor or whatever?
Right.
And you get him on the phone and you would just go like, oh, my feet, my wife left me, my feet stink, whatever. And you just like go on and on about bullshit.
Hilarious.
And the sillier you could be, the better.
Yeah.
And I mean, we never did it to like hurt anybody or whatever, but like I idolized, dude, the Jerky Boys tapes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, dude, comedy tapes as a kid. It was the Jerky Boys first and second tape, and
Yeah.
Adam Sandler, They're All Gonna Laugh at You.
Mm-hmm.
I listened to nonstop. I would sit in class with like an earbud running up into my ear, not an earbud, but like, I would take apart the thing so I can like listen in class.
Yeah.
And I was like fascinated by it. And we made so many crank calls, dude. I loved doing it. We got pretty good at it too.
Tug, prank calls were such a staple with not only like Jerky Boys obviously took it to a whole other level, but just on radio shows in general. How the Stern and everybody.
Roy Wood.
Roy Wood.
like-
the great Roy Wood. Yeah.
One of the, I mean, and if you guys don't know Roy Wood's comedy, you're
missing out.
Yeah, enjoy
check
the
him out.
rest of your, I mean, he is maybe one of the best working today.
Yeah, he's
I
great.
love him. But I think Birmingham, Alabama or Jacksonville radio, he had he did like a recurring piece.
Yeah.
Where he would do like crank calls.
Yep. And he became pretty popular off of that.
That's how his career started.
He also he tells his story, but he prank called Jay Prince Jr., who I don't know if you're familiar with Jay Prince. Jay Prince is a notorious record
Producer?
not producer, record label owner.
Okay.
From out of Texas. Rap a lot. So the Ghetto Boys.
Okay.
Et cetera, et cetera. So he is not one to be effed with, let's say. Let's say he didn't just come up as an intern in the music biz. He got his straight out the streets, right?
Okay, all right.
And Roy Wood, as a young up-and-coming comic, I think Jay Prince was like in his town, or I forget wherever it was. But anyway, he prank called Jay Prince, and thinking he was going to get a nice back and forth, Jay Prince goes, "Wait, where are you? I'll be right there."
No shit?
Yeah.
Wow.
And Roy Wood had to immediately find. I think he maybe found like a liaison or some connection and say, "Hey, please, I'm so sorry."
This
blah,
was
blah,
just
blah.
a game,
This was
yeah.
just a yeah. It was-
Dude.
we almost didn't know Roy Wood Jr.
It's so crazy when it backfires on you, even at like a local level, like
Yeah.
when you're calling like a pizza place or a Chinese restaurant or
Yeah.
whatever, and you keep calling and calling and calling. And they finally they know it's a prank, and they go like, "We have your number. We called the police," way before caller ID.
Yeah, they could. You could call and
Star 69.
Star 69, any of that.
Star 69 kids
Yeah.
was literally just you pressed it and it called back whoever just called you. I don't know if that's still a thing. But and we used to think Star 67 blocked Star 69.
Right.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Which is I don't even know if any of that was. But dude, I think that and even who else was incredible at it? Florentine.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean the whole Crank Yankers, Adam Carolla, the whole nine, they were incredible.
They were great.
I love Florentine is he's done some of the funniest crank calls when he just keeps somebody on the phone and
Yeah.
he's just it's awesome. And it's an art.
It can also. It's a almost a lost art because just the way we communicate now. I mean, caller ID pretty much
Ruined it.
just ruined that
And no one answers the phone anymore.
No, not at all.
No. So
Not
I mean, how are you gonna crank somebody if they don't? What are you gonna crank text?
Yeah, exactly.
Now it's literally just spam. Mm-hmm. Man, we used to do it so much. Oh, I
used to love listening to it. I didn't do it as much. For some reason, I was just like, I don't know. I just didn't do it as much. But I used to love listening to like other people, and we would download them too. Like just download random ones that we would find on like LimeWire or whatever, and just.
I'm just thinking about some of the stupid ones. Like, I'm getting rushes of memories in my head.
Yeah.
But I remember one time we would call and we'd go like, "Is Rob there?" No, you got the wrong number. And we'd wait a couple minutes. We'd go, "Hi, is Rob there?" No, you got the wrong number. And then we'd go, "Good afternoon, is Robert there?" No, you got the wrong number. And we would do all different voices.
Yeah.
And then we'd go, "Hi, this is Rob. Did I get any calls?"
Oh, nice.
Oh, you hack, son of a bitch.
Nice.
But man, when we got them and we were like, yeah, high-fiving and whatever.
Yeah.
And they're like, "You motherfucker. Like, I just had surgery and I got to get up to answer the phone." And you're just like, "Nah, gotcha." The Jerky Boys, though, I mean, I'll go back and listen to that. There are times when I'm on drives and I just go back and listen to like Frank Rizzo and Saul Rosenberg and the Egyptian Magician and all the great, like, they're just so funny.
It's kind of poetic in the sense of like, or just how much they ended up like hating each other over time. Like it's this thing of like they started just for fun, just because why not? And then it just becomes a thing. And then they drop like 2 like crazy selling albums. And then that movie, I mean, you know, Stinkeroonie.
That's one of those things, and I think you and I may have chatted about this, and I think it's something that we'll do for an episode coming up, but like movies that just shouldn't have been.
Yeah.
Like characters that
Just
shouldn't have
jump
been.
the shark.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Jerky
jump the
Boys is
shark.
like, I mean, just stick with what you're doing,
Yeah.
you know? Because they were gold.
There we go.
And then, like you said, the first 2 were dynamite, and then it kind of got a little bit like towards the end. Like
Yeah.
it still worked, but god damn. I mean, I don't know what life would have been like if I didn't have them to
I mean,
listen to
talk
when I was
about
a
2
kid.
guys. And look, hope they're doing well or whatnot, but just 2 guys whose careers, the trajectory of their careers after they split, you kind of go, man, you guys are better together. You know?
Yeah, I don't even know what happened to them.
I think what's his name, Johnny? He ended up doing some stuff with Seth on like Family Guy, like some different characters and
Yeah.
voices and stuff like that. But other than that, I think he kept trying to revive the brand on his own, and it just never really.
See, that'd be a documentary that I'd like to watch. Is like, you know, the advent of the Jerky Boys, and also just talking to like how much they probably influenced Trey
God.
Parker, Matt
Yeah.
Stone, fucking like
Seth, all those guys.
like all those guys, dude.
Yeah.
Because their voices in the like cartoons, heady cartoons,
Yeah.
adult cartoons, and Jerky Boys, kind of like
They all kinda-
blossomed at the same. They all came out of that same herb garden. You know?
Yeah.
Shout out to the Jerky Boys.
Shout out,
and
man.
the Crank Yankers
Yeah.
and Roy Wood.
And Roy Wood.
What was your favorite crank calls growing up, everybody? Are we old podcast at Gmail or the voicemail?
That's right. 478-420-0690.
We had a voicemail recently, right? From Dennis.
Yeah. Yeah, he wanted to know, we had to pick Street Fighter versus Mortal Kombat.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. 2 gems. Mm-hmm. Wasted a lot of quarters on both.
Oh my God. I mean, they're two. Yeah, it's hard. I mean,
Mortal Kombat.
I could go either or, but if gun to head. Ugh.
I got to go Mortal Kombat. I got to go Mortal Kombat.
I'm not mad at it.
I got to go Mortal Kombat because my town movie theater, again, it's just availability and timing.
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat was right there. It was new at the time that I was hanging out in the movie theater lobby, pumping quarters into that thing, playing. And I
Okay.
was Sub-Zero every chance I got.
Yeah.
I just loved that game. I loved the background of like everybody watching in the temple.
Okay.
And it just had some type of like a different vibe to it for me. And Street Fighter was one that I loved, but
See, here's the thing. All right. You're right. Everything you're saying is correct. In the temple, the fact that they had to make their way up through the tournament to the top of the mountain.
Yes.
Also, Mortal Kombat. The fact that they mirrored the fighters off of real people.
Yeah.
So the moves looked better just because they were like, it was almost like CGI before CGI.
Yes.
It was real people, doing the fights and stuff like that. So all very dope. And I could go on forever about how also Mortal Kombat, the reason that there's rated M
for mature.
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
So like all of that.
Well, because of the finishing moves.
But of course, the finishing moves, you're ripping spinal cords out of people.
Yeah, and holding up heads,
You're not uppercutting people's heads flying off. You also had to put a code in because the parents were losing their minds. So for Super Nintendo, they made it they made it PG-13, which sucked. But Sega kept it all the way real.
Yeah, Sega was like Skinamax.
Yeah.
Sega was balls, dude.
Sega was balls to the wall. If you put the code in, you could do it PG-13 or you could do it the real way. And once you put that code in, and we would all trade the code. We all knew the codes. Oh, what's the code? You got to get the code. Pass it around.
How cool
at
that
school.
they made us codes.
Oh, codes. Up, left, whatever it was. And the screen and the words would turn red for blood. And then when you knew when you punched somebody, blood would splurt out.
It was more bloody.
Oh, it was great. Yeah. No, I think if it was PG-13, it was no blood.
Yeah, it was orange juice.
And then it was and then it was blood if you, oh my God. So,
dude, I always thought,
all the reasons.
I always thought Mortal Kombat was so badass that you had to fight yourself.
Yes.
When you're climbing the ladder, and like you're Sub-Zero, eventually you had to fight yourself, and it's like, what a cool concept, and like what an amazing, like the moves were great, like, oh God, I just love that game.
Yeah, it was amazing. I mean, it was amazing, but there's something to say about the fact that there would be no Mortal Kombat if there was no Street Fighter.
I agree with you.
I mean, Street Fighter set the tone for so many beat 'em up games. Street Fighter was the first game that you could select your player. That was the first one of that. Before you couldn't select whatever the main player was.
Yeah, that was it. You're right.
This one, it was like, what player are you? Who's your guy? Who's your this? Who's your that? Which like completely changed everything. Also, Street Fighter 2 was the one that we reference.
Yes.
Like this is how significant Street Fighter 2 is. Most people think Street Fighter 2 is the original Street Fighter, even though Street Fighter the 2 is in the title.
The 2 is in the title. Yeah,
and
you're
we're
right.
still like, yeah, but that's the original.
That's
like,
right, huh?
No.
Yeah. I wonder if in chronological order, did it go Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter 2?
Street Fighter 2 dropped in 90. Mike can pull it up. Street Fighter 2, I want to say 91, and I think Mortal Kombat was like 93, I think.
And then Street Fighter 2, and then
no, Street Fighter 2.
Street Fighter 2 was before Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat, I believe. I believe Street Fighter 2 was before Mortal Kombat, but they were right there though.
When when Mortal Kombat in the arcade, in like the when it hit the movie theater, I mean, dude, there were lines to play. Literally, there were like lines to play, and all the games we used to play were just empty.
Yeah,
nobody cared,
bro. It was pandemonium. Like news coverage was like at arcades, like talking to kids, like, "Why do you like the games? Like, get out of here, lady!" And can't you see? I was never a big Street Fighter arcade guy. I was a huge. I was never a Mortal Kombat arcades guy. I was a huge Street Fighter arcade guy. Oh. But Mortal Kombat, I was just at home with it.
My buddy had it on Sega.
Oh my God.
My buddy Dennis he's such a shout out to Dennis.
Yeah.
He had all the good stuff.
Yeah.
And he had Sega. I was always a Nintendo guy, and he was the Sega Genesis guy, like even regular Sega. He got PlayStation first.
Yeah.
He was always like the trailblazer, and we would play at his house. But going to the theater and playing on the arcade was like, that was the best.
Yeah, man, the arcade was top notch. Top notch. Also, like Street Fighter was just dope because for me, I liked that it took you around the world.
Different. Yes, different. Yeah.
All those different, like, you're like, oh no, we're going to India. Oh no, we're going to, I don't know. My kid brain was just like, oh, this is cool. There's other places in the world. Yeah, it was great.
And I like the mythical beasts that would be thrown in every now and then.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
Like, and even in Mortal Kombat, you had that dude with like 6 arms.
Yeah, right.
And
right.
yeah.
I also liked, I had a crush on Chun-Li.
Did you?
Oh, absolutely.
Of course. We all did.
Absolutely. Shout out to Chun-Li.
Which one do you guys pick? Are we old podcast at gmail.com or the phone number?
That's right. Phone number.
478-420-0690.
There we go.
We got some fun merch coming your way, guys. We got a lot going on the Patreon. And we love having you here. So stick with us and stay young.
Stay young.
Peace.
Hendrix.